I have a question for His Holiness. You are proposing the method of non-violence for a long time, over 50 years, and some people say it's not really getting better, the conflict in Tibet, it's actually some getting worse. What do you tell to these people who are getting impatient and want to add maybe some more pressure?
Yes. I think since last, at least 3-4 decades, some young Tibetan, you see, at that time, Afghan Mujahideen sort of movement, so some Tibetan, you see, pointing for Mujahideen, quite sort of more publicity and some kind of sort of effective. So you see, they suggest to me we should involve some violence. Then I respond to these people, to such people who have that kind of view. Firstly, violent method always bring disaster. Now, recent time, look, United States sort of policy regarding Iraq crisis. I know President Bush very well. As a human being, I very much love him, very much respect him. But his policy, I think mainly due to some of advisors. I think motivation is good, aim also good, bring democracy, but method involve force. So now even today, the consequences of that are still not yet solved. Now it become larger sort of complication. And then also you see that I think causing the September 11th event. Nowadays, so-called terrorism much increased. So therefore, you see, no matter what sort of positive goal or motivation, method, as long as you touch weapon, then whole your sort of what they call the reasonable goal may damage. Then now today, number of Chinese, recent years, even I think last 15, 20 years, particularly after Tiananmen event, I met a lot of Chinese intellectuals, teachers, writers, artists, thinkers. Now very much sort of support about Tibetan sort of stuff. One, I think some of you may know, about over 1,000 articles in Chinese language wrote by Chinese, many of them within China. We noticed all these 1,000 articles fully support about our middle way approach, very critical about Chinese government policy. And then I personally met a number of Chinese students, a few thousand, scholars, few hundred, all when they, at the beginning, some you see Chinese, little bit sort of uneasiness attitude. When we talk, explain about our middle way approach and strictly according to non-violent principle, then all those Chinese fully sort of supporting that. And I think soon after Tiananmen event, one occasion I was in Harvard University, some talk. There are about a few hundred Chinese, I think over 200 Chinese students I met, I talked, and after that, I think 17 Chinese, some representative of some student, as a representative of the group of the student, And then also some, you see, the freedom fighter from Tiananmen escaped. Then some teacher. So I explained about the hours of struggle, not one side victory or one side defeat, but mutual benefit. I explained these things, middle approach. After they listened, then they unanimously told me, if this approach known to Chinese people, entire Chinese people will support you. Nowadays, I meet Chinese quite regularly, particularly Buddhist, every week in Dharamsala. Every week, some Chinese, 15, 20, 10, always come. If we carry violent method, these situations will not come. So government level, something different. But people's level, our struggle, strictly non-violence and middle approach really bring very, very positive effect. And then Buddhism